Hey everyone, welcome back. It is day 26 and today we are doing some hip mobility mat. This is probably going to be my favorite workout of the 30-day journey. It's definitely going to be the most feel good, juicy, in my opinion. It might feel different for you though, just saying. But we'll go ahead and get started in a seated position on the mat. So I'm gonna have you just find the center-ish of your space. You're gonna pull your knees up in towards your chest as much as you can, keeping a tall flat back. And we want to, as best we can, be right on top of our number 11s, right on top of our sits bones, and not kind of pulling backward in the low back at all. And you're gonna let your knees be open the width of your shoulders and your feet slightly open as if they were in an open Pilates stance. So now we'll just reach the arms forward here. We'll zip up the tight jacket, pull into the waist. You might feel your hip flexors working. That's fine. We're just getting into that end range of motion here, lifting tall through the spine, letting those hips flex. And then from here, we're just going to take the arms. We'll keep them where they are. We'll drop the knees over to the right, and that will cause you to kind of swivel on your axis a little bit. So now you are facing a diagonal. And if you look down at your legs, your knees are bent at 90 degrees, your feet are flexed, and then you're just going to keep that flat back and lean forward off of your sit bones, keeping the chest lifted. And you might feel a stretch there in the back of that front hip, and then you'll come back up. We'll do that 2 more times. Leaning forward and back up. 1 more time here. Leaning forward and back up. Now let's go ahead and take the hands to the hips. We'll stay tall. And then we're going to work with this front leg. First, you're going to dig your outside edge of the foot down into the floor and try to lift your knee up off the mat. And as you do that, I don't want you to move the bones of your torso at all. You're going to stay nice and centered, nice and square, and your sit bone on the back side is still flat down to the floor. So we tend to torque and twist a little bit in this position, and you may feel that tightness wrapping around in your hip capsule. That's totally normal. We're just still hanging out in those end ranges. And of course, feel free to back off of any of this if you start to feel pain or more than your regular exercising discomfort. And now we'll go ahead and drop that knee down. From here, you're going to push the knee down into, I'm going to scoot back in my space a little bit. Front knee presses down into the floor, and you'll try to lift your foot off of the mat. And what you're doing is you're externally rotating your thigh in order to get that foot to elevate. For me, it doesn't work. It doesn't want to go, but I'm still working that hip around in its socket and engaging all of those deep rotator muscles in my hip. Let's do that 1 more time, lifting that ankle foot off the mat or not, and then letting it go. Now onto the back leg, we'll do the same thing. So we'll start with the knee and then we'll set it down. So I'm pressing the inside edge of my back leg, my left leg into the floor in order to externally rotate and lift the knee off. And I'm feeling that deeply in my hip because I'm keeping my torso really stable and steady. And then we'll go ahead and push the knee down into the floor and lift the back leg foot off the mat. This time, internally rotating the hip, internally rotating. 1 more time, internally rotating, and then letting it go. Now from here, we're just gonna soften through that front foot. Hands stay on the hips or they go forward. And from here, you're just going to roll over the front shin and lift up to a vertical position. And you might feel that nice stretch in the front of your back leg. And then you'll gently lower down with control. Let's do that 2 more times. Lifting off, squeezing seat at the top and gently lowering down. 1 more time, lifting off, rolling onto that shin, and then gently rolling down. Awesome. Now from here, we'll come out of this position. Let's reach the arms back to center. And then all we'll do is flip back to our start, lifting the chest, lifting those knees in towards the shoulders, and then go ahead and turn to the other side. And we'll go ahead and repeat all of that. So first, leaning forward, trying to keep that back hip on the mat, and then coming back up to the top. 2 more. Lean it forward and bring it back up. 1 more time. Lean it forward and bring it back up. Now hands onto the hips. We're going to try to lift that front knee off the mat, lifting it up, 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 down. 2 more times. Lift, 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 down. 1 more time here. Lift, 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 lower, and then we'll lift that front foot off the mat by pressing through that bottom thigh and knee, lifting the foot up, 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 and down as much as it can go, really working that external rotation of that front hip, and back down. 1 more time, and for me, it's not going. I'm just unweighting my foot, really. That's all that's happening. And then set it back down. Now we'll go to the back side, back leg. So first we'll lift the knee off and lower it down and lifting off. And we're not rolling around on the pelvis or hips at all. We're just staying tall, right in center, box is square. And then we'll lift that foot off, back foot lifts off, 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 back down, up, 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 back down. 1 more time, up, 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 back down. Good. And then soften that front leg. Make sure you have enough space. You can reach your arms forward. We'll bring it forward, squeeze the seat up and back down. And both my feet are soft so I can press through the front of my ankles here on the floor. Forward, up, and back down. 1 more time. Forward, up, and back down. Excellent. And we'll go ahead and just bring it back to the center here. And then if you veered off course like I did, go ahead and center yourself back down on the mat. Let's actually go ahead and come up to an all fours position. We're going to take the right foot and step it forward in between the hands, tuck the back toes, and then we'll just lunge forward here, sending both hips forward and down, and then just trying to square the box. And then we'll go ahead and just push through that front leg, lengthening through the front foot, or front knee rather, and then lean it forward, keeping these stretches nice and active, squeezing the seat on the way forward, and then pressing through that back leg like you're pressing something heavy away as you come back, and then gliding forward again, rebending that knee, squeezing the glutes as you pull forward, and then gliding it all the way back. Good. Now go ahead and come up here to a tall kneeling position. We're going to take the front foot and send it to the side. Not too far side. You don't want it parallel to your body or perpendicular to your body. We want it kind of at a diagonal angle. And all we're going to do is lunge into that front leg and then bring it back into the center. Just sending your knee over your toe, lunging. Just keep that tight jacket zipped and back up. And you'll only go as far as feels good for your hips and your knees and your ankles. Good. And then keep this position here. We'll go ahead and just send our torso forward, taking a forward fold, but keeping the back flat as if you're trying to make a tabletop position here. And then go ahead and come all the way back up. 2 more times, sending it forward. And all the way back up. 1 more time, sending it forward. And all the way back up. And now we'll switch to the other side so you can set your hands down on the mat, step your left foot forward. Let's tuck those back right toes and then go ahead and take a nice lunge, squeezing your seat, sending your hips forward and down. And then we'll go ahead and push through that front leg, extending through the knee. Send it forward again, pressing through your hips, squeezing your seat, and then send it back. 1 more time, bring it forward and send it all the way back. Good. And then we'll go ahead and walk up to that tall kneeling position, find your balance, and then just step that left foot off of your mat. We'll do our side lunges here, going all the way over as far as feels good, and then back into the center. 2 more times, bringing it over, big lunge. I feel this in my inner thigh. It feels so good. One more time, bringing it all the way over and pulling it back to center. Now keeping that leg there, we'll just bow it forward, trying to just tip from your hip creases, trying not to send any weight forward or back, and then bring it back up to the center. 2 more times, just tip from those hip creases, keeping that back flat. Try to find that tabletop position. Everything else stays the same. And back up one more time, tipping it forward and all the way back up. All right, now go ahead and just sit down on 2 knees and you are all set for the day for your hip mobility mat. I will see you on the mat tomorrow for day 27. Bye for now.